This is called a Heat Pal, the brand is Origo, and it's a Heat Pal 5100 for the 5100 BTUs per hour that it has. It comes in a canister case, and the, well, I guess first of all, we have to show you that on top of the unit is just a little burner control unit. As you can see, you can control the flame. You can completely smother it if you close that all the way, or you can open it up to get varying amounts of flame. It also has this little device on the top to make a little bit of turbulence with that flame, spread it out a little bit, some supports for a pan, and
so could you actually cook with this also?
yes, it's designed to be a cooker or a heater.
Or a heater, okay.
And it just snaps down on top of this this can.
I personally like the thought of a heater because a lot of people get in a lot of trouble if they try to use the common canisters, what are they called, you know, that you cook with on a grill?
Oh, the what, the little butane stoves?
Yeah,
or
propane.
Or the propane stoves?
Yeah, they get asphyxiated, you know, whereas with this you don't have that problem.
Well, this also uses up oxygen, so you have to be in a well-ventilated area.
Right.
But
you have to be in a snow cave with no, you know, closed entrance, right?
Right.
Okay.
And well, and this makes it just a little bit safer. It snaps down into a canister. We just have to. There's a special slot for the controller, so it can poke outside, and you can see there's some little notches in the top there. And then once you get it placed in there, it's locked in until you peel or push the locks back, and then you can actually move the handle outside, so you can control that right there. And this is a surface where you can set a pan. It's getting oxygen for the flame up underneath, and so you can cook on this, and you can control the intensity of the flame using this little slide. You can light the unit either by using a match, or in this particular case I think a lighter is pretty handy. You can just put it down in there, touch that to the area, and sometimes it's a little slow getting started.
There you go, it's going.
Yeah, it's going, and so once it's lit, like I said, you can either you can control it, you can set a pan on it, or if you simply want to use it as a heater, it has this cover that goes on top, and you can just feel the warm air coming up through the top.
I notice this is a nylon strap on here for probably carrying purposes, but that's not going to melt, is that right?
Right. Yeah.
It's welted on there.
Yeah, it's riveted on there so it doesn't come off. But you know, most of the heat comes up around the bottom, and the sides stay cold.
Yep, you can feel that. Wow, it's really cool. I can't leave my head there.
Yeah, it's quite a bit of heat.
It's a great heat source.
Okay.
Anything else you want to tell us about that?
No, not really. Well, you know, this is
as far as when you're carrying it, is this the size you carry it in, like you put it in a backpack or throw it in your car or something like that?
If you're well, it comes in a cardboard box, which is handy. But if you were going to carry it somewhere, it's intended that you could simply just turn off the flame by closing the slide all the way, and then the top part is meant to, well, the slide retracts. This goes down into the lower part. The strap comes up, and you can just carry it away like that.
So I never would have guessed that, so I wanted the viewers to see that.
Oh yeah. Okay. So it's fairly handy, well thought out unit, and they use a lot of them in Europe, as I said. This also comes from Sweden, and they use a lot of alcohol fuel there, and this is one of the means of doing it.
Okay. Well, that's it for the moment. We'll see you in a few minutes, and we'll be right back.
Good. Excellent.
All right. Now you want to show those things over there?
Yeah.
Okay. And this would be for a light source, right?
This is a light source. Light heating. It can do
you
light
sell
heating
these, or
if you
just
want.
something people can get, or
This is something that they can get, and I just barely became aware of another unit that does not have a wick. It just has a little capillary tube that brings the alcohol up. So it's a solid. I think it's made out of copper, and you know, you can
so it's like
fill
the
it up
gas
with
coming
alcohol.
out of the. Is it just the gas coming out?
Right.
Or the
Fumes
fumes is what I mean.
Yeah, you don't have a wick that burns away. It would work indefinitely, but it's just a little lamp like this.
Okay. And did you want to be people contacting you to buy those from you or not?
No, I just wanted to.
Because that's fine, but I'm gonna get from you where I'd send them on the screen to go get that. If I want to
Okay.
get that.
Or, I don't know if you want to handle them, you could. I got them from swego.com, or, the information's in that box. You could go back to the manufacturer. There's quite a few people that, in the United States that handle them, but you might be able to get a distributorship and
Okay.
get them for a little bit less.
All right. Okay, so just stay here.
Just
with
stay
me.
here.
Okay. You ready to go?
Yep.
Okay, welcome back to our Emergency Preparation and Cooking Show. I'm here with Jay Wimpy, and Jay, what is this we're going to look at right quick?
This is an alcohol lamp. It's actually, it was quite common a few decades ago when they didn't have natural gas in labs. This is the older version of the Bunsen burner, but they are still available. And it's just a little alcohol lamp that actually has some different corners on it to where you could turn it to the side, and if it wasn't entirely full, and you can actually heat up under something, and it does provide a fair amount of heat. But I think the major use for someone who is interested might be for light heating duties or for light. And I've practiced with these for light quite a bit, and it's just kind of a rechargeable candle, if you will. And you just light that wick, and as you can see, it makes kind of a yellow flame, and which produces a fair amount of light, enough to read or help you find your way around the house or do your dishes, whatever you need to. So this is a candle that tends to be non-smelly, burns pretty clean, and can be refilled an indefinite number of times.
Do you have a ballpark idea, if you fill it to the rim there, about how long that's going to last you, hour-wise?
Yeah, they go for about an hour.
About an hour?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
With a full.
So if you want to have the alcohol as a fuel alternative, it'd be wise to have 4 or 5 55-gallon drums, which you could store anywhere outside. Doesn't matter if it snows on them or anything.
Right, and they don't freeze in the winter or anything like that.
Utilities.
And they don't overpressurize the drums in the summer. The vapor pressure is relatively low, and in fact, the vapor pressure is very similar to water as far as the evaporation.
Where would
rate.
they go to get a little device like this? Because I know you're not a distributor for them or anything. Where would they go to get that?
These lamps cost about $6, and they come from American Science and Surplus. And we can get you the phone number or the website for
And we'll
that.
show that on the screen.
Right.
Okay. Well, thank you for watching this little part, and we'll be right back after this.
Cut. Yeah.
Now
I
it's
used to play with those.
What's that?
I used to play with those when I was young.
Mm-hmm.
next.
Burned off my eyebrows.
Okay, let's clear the table off and all this stuff. And I want to get into some of the little white pellets and the little blue patches you can,
Okay.
and the things that take moisture out, those kinds of things. And we'll
Okay.
put that in
Do you
another
want to do the
episode.
MRE yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do whatever you got.
Okay.
We want it all.
Yeah.
So, do you have any of my leather coat?
This is a sample of the folders from Mr. Thomas.
Oh, okay, great.
You want some water, Jay?
Actually, that wouldn't be bad. Maybe just a.
I find this very handy to have on a shoot.
Thank you. Yep. Yeah, you don't realize how much you talk or don't talk other times.
That's right.
So-
We don't want you.
It is gaga. What do you know?
Mhm. So how long you been doing this kind of thing, Jay?
Well, I've been kind of involved in preparedness since maybe 1990 or so,
Oh, wow.
and
Okay.
I guess I've gotten more and more involved over the years.
Yeah,
And then,
I know I have.
I've run into stuff. From time to time, I run into something that I think is useful for people, and kind of develop it for myself, and then try to help other people the same way or whatever.
So do you go around doing speeches or? Or
Yeah,
You
I-
sell things, all these things?
Yeah, I go, let me see, I do a monthly lecture up at the Salt Lake City County Building in,
okay.
and that's on the second Saturday evening of every month. And then I also work with the American Civil Defense Association. I provide material for their publications and such. And then if I get a call from a group and they want somebody to come and speak about preparedness, and
Right.
then I do.
Okay,
I
good.
do a lot of church groups and then some other,
Yeah.
just private groups.
Yeah, that's good,
Whatever.
okay. Yeah. Well, maybe I'll have to shoot up there one Saturday and video you right there in the,
Yeah,
group.
we'd be happy to have you up. I guess, you actually got three things. These two go together, these two go together. Let me grab my bottle of water up here. Just to demonstrate a MRE heater.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll remember to turn this camera on now.
Now, do we have one of these? Oh, you got one open, good, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, ready?
I'm Reg McDaniel and welcome back to the Emergency Preparation and Cooking Show. My guest today is Jay Wimpy. I've had him on different episodes throughout the season, and he's going to show us a few things that we can use in our emergency preparation equipment that he actually offers if you want to get a hold of him to buy some of these things. Come on, Jay. Thanks
Okay.
for coming on our show today.
Yeah, it's nice to be here.
Welcome back again. And so tell us about these different devices you found and that people can buy from you if they're interested.
Okay, well, first of all, there's MRE heaters, and maybe I could explain a little bit. In my own search or quest to be better prepared, if I run out into something that I think other people will be interested in and I get a good deal, I usually try to buy more and sell them to people. The MRE heaters are produced by the military for heating the meals for the soldiers. You're probably, most people are familiar with the little pouch envelopes with different types of food in. It's all ready to eat except for it could be kind of cold.
And for those who don't know, MREs are meals ready to eat. That's what that stands for.
Yes.
Okay.
Meals ready to eat. But you can we can actually procure the heaters that they use for those meals in bulk quantities if desired. They have quite a few uses. First of all, you can cook food. You can actually fill this. Well, the way they work is you fill them with a little bit of water. You just put a little bit of water down at the bottom. It tends to soak through this cardboard pad in there, and then it heats up to the boiling point of water for about 30 or 40 minutes. And that's enough to heat a meal. It can heat your cocoa or your mush, whatever you can get it next to. We've done some experiments using some of those little flexible insulated lunch boxes, and you can put a couple of these in there with a can of chili, and and wait a half an hour to an hour, and it's pretty nice and toasty. At least at serving temperature and ready to eat. They are very simple to use. They have a little notch in the plastic, so you don't have to use a pair of scissors, and you just peel the top off like that. You open up the neck, and you use a little bit of water, and you can just kind of watch the water go down to the bottom there.
Yeah, there's a fill line.
Yeah, there's a fill line. So once you get the fill line up to the fill line, then you stop. You can just turn it on its side and make sure that it's mostly soaked through that, and then you just have to wait for a couple of minutes for it to heat up. And again, you can. It is recommended that you just put this with something to the side where the water won't run back out, but it'll just you can put whatever you want to heat right there, and you can feel it's cold right now.
Yeah,
It's just
good.
cold water, and
So this is almost like a heat pad, if you will. So it's
Right.
not like you put it inside the container. You just set it on top of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the instructions for using an MRE meal are in there, and they're usually a plastic pouch that comes with a cardboard outer container, and this is meant to be able to slip in to the side of that meal and heat it up. And they say if it's frozen, you might have to use two of them to get it heated up. You can tell it's already getting warm now,
Yep.
and then it'll get really warm here in a little bit. There's lots of uses for these. I've used them when I've been outside. If you get a little bit cold, you can actually activate one, slip it inside your jacket, and just hold it there. It's kind of like having a little hot water bottle. Or you can just put it on your seat and let it bend a little bit, and it'll heat you up there. It's relatively light. You can take a dozen of them here. and what, you know.
About a half a pound.
Yeah, half a pound. So, you know, you could throw a couple of these in the trunk of your car and it's not going to cost you a lot of fuel to pack them around. But say if you ever got stopped in your car, you needed to either get yourself a little bit warm or melt some snow to make some water, you've got a temporary source of heat that will,
wow. You
yeah,
can
see
burn yourself down.
now it's hot enough to where you can't really keep your hand on it anymore, and it's going to maintain that for about 30 minutes. So it's just a quick, convenient, light source of heat, and you can let your imagination be your guide.
Okay, and show us the next device you got there.
Well, something else that I've run onto is some desiccant pouches. You can actually get bulk desiccant, and these little beads absorb moisture. And there's lots of things that we want to store that we might want to eliminate the moisture. One thing is grains and beans. Your food, you want to keep them dry.
So this
and
would
that
be in
keeps
lieu
the
of an
bacteria from
oxygen
growing.
packet, right?
Yes, in lieu of an oxygen packet, and especially if you plan on sprouting those grains and beans later on, they can handle the dryness, but they can't handle being without oxygen for an indefinite period of time. So you can simply put your bags of grain in there, and you can see maybe the MRE heaters actually making a little bit of steam over there now.
Look at this.
So it's getting nice and toasty.
That's hot.
And heating things up. But anyway, this is just a handy material to keep things dry. Food, or say a lot of people actually buy these to put in a gun case or a cabinet to keep it absolutely dry in there to make sure that they don't.
Now, are
get
these
rust
reusable?
They are reusable, and the instructions to recharge them are right on the bag. So if they get full of moisture, the reactivation time is 12 hours at 245. So you just lay these out on a cookie sheet, put them in your oven overnight, and they will recharge and be able to be used again.
Now, the reason I really like this product, and I wanted you to show to the viewers on the show, is in contradiction to what you just said, you can put this in a solar oven at that temperature, and so you don't, in an emergency situation, you don't have to have a gas stove or an electric stove or oven, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's a great way to be able to reuse something over and over again, which doesn't usually happen when you're using things like this. So you have your 5-gallon bucket, you've got it full of wheat, beans, rice, whatever. Put this right on top, put your lid down, knock it down, and then when you open it up, you can put it in your solar oven, reuse it again. That's
Right.
a great product.
They're made to absorb moisture a little bit slow, and then they give it off a little bit slow as well. But that way, it can handle being out and be handled for say an hour or two, without becoming fully saturated with moisture, and then you can recharge it. This is basically the same material, only it comes in a bulk package. And in order to use this with your food, you'd simply have to come up with a little patch of fabric, pour some in the middle of the fabric, gather it up, tie it so it doesn't get mixed in with your grain, but it would do exactly the same thing. And I have this available at a little bit of a lower price.
Okay.
And the other thing is, I just happened to run onto a bunch of grease. This is a silicone-based grease. It's relatively light. It also has molybdenum in it to keep it from, or to retard any type of corrosion. So basically, if you had any type of equipment that you wanted to protect from corrosion, you just spread this on. If you happen to, say, take that piece of equipment, even dip it in water, if it's out in the rain, the water will just bead up on it. It doesn't like the silicone. It just beads up and runs off. Plus, it's got that protective layer of molybdenum to
So what are some
retard the corrosion.
What are some pieces of equipment you can think of where if you were in an emergency situation might want to use that product?
Well, weapons, of course,
Okay.
need to function reliably, and they also need a little bit of lubrication. And this actually is meant to be a low temperature silicone grease, but it works pretty good at the higher temperatures as well. But you could actually use this to keep guns and other types of weapons